man once told me he lost everything, his business, his family, his future, because of a rooster. Not a metaphor, not a symbol. An actual, feathered, clucking, 5 o'clock in the morning rooster. Now you hear that and you might chuckle. I did too at first. But then he told me the rest. He lived in a small Tennessee town, had a quiet little life, a modest business, a house he was proud of, a front porch with a swing, you know the type, the kind of life most folks spend decades trying to build. But every morning, like clockwork, that neighbor's rooster would let out a screech loud enough to wake the dead, and just irritating enough to make you wish you were. It wasn't just a noise, it was a personal invasion, a daily alarm clock that he never set. Day after day, week after week, month after month, and like a pot left on the stove, slowly boiling, he simmered. Until one day he couldn't take it anymore. He stomped across the yard in his slippers, rage in his bones, and hit his neighbor square in the face. That punch cost him everything. A lawsuit, jail time, reputation ruined, his business folded, his wife left. Not because of the rooster, but because of how he responded to the rooster. And that, my friends, is the real lesson. He didn't lose his life to a bird. He lost it to his own emotions. And I'll tell you something even more frightening. Most people are doing the same thing, just slower. We all have our own roosters. Sometimes it's traffic. Sometimes it's a rude boss, a sideways comment. Sometimes it's fear or insecurity or ego. But one way or another, we let these little things peck at us, bit by bit until we crack. And so I ask you, not just as a question, but as a challenge, are you in control of your emotions, or are your emotions in control of you? Because if you can learn to master your emotions, you can steer your life in any direction you choose. Let's talk about that. Let me tell you something that very few people are ever taught. Your emotions are not in charge. You are... Now that might sound obvious, but most people don't live that way. They think emotions are automatic, uncontrollable, something that just happens to them. But that's not true. Emotions occur, yes, but your response? That's a decision. Getting angry doesn't just happen, you participate in it. Feeling hopeless? That's a reaction your mind rehearses. Resentment, jealousy, fear, guilt, these aren't storms that roll in from the outside. They're choices we make over and over until they feel automatic. But you can stop it. You can intervene. You can decide, not today. You see, life is going to test you. That's a guarantee. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fall apart. Money will get tight. Someone you love will let you down. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to react, to yell, to sulk, to panic. But here's the truth. Those who react emotionally stay stuck. Those who respond deliberately, those who pause, breathe, think, they move forward. Because control isn't about suppressing how you feel, it's about owning it. It's about saying, yes, I feel this, but no, it doesn't run the show. Every successful person I've ever studied had this ability. They felt the same emotions we all do, frustration, fear, disappointment, but they didn't act out of them. They paused. They held their ground. They responded with clarity, not chaos. And that's real power. The world around you will always be unstable, but you can be the one stable thing in your life. So the next time life presses your buttons, don't just react. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what would the strongest, calmest version of me do right now? That's where your power lives. That's where your future lives. And that's how you take your life back from anything and anyone. Acting as if nothing bothers you doesn't make you fake. It makes you free. See, somewhere along the way, people started confusing self-control with denial, as if staying calm means you're bottling things up or pretending. No, not at all. It means you're practicing discipline. And discipline is a rare thing these days. You don't have to react to everything that pokes you. You don't have to explain yourself every time you're misunderstood. You don't have to let every inconvenience turn into a crisis. You can simply choose to not be bothered. And that, my friend, is a superpower. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace, your progress, your purpose than you do about being right in the moment. I'll give you an example. Not a story, a truth. When you walk into a room and carry yourself like nothing rattles you, people notice. Not because you're loud, but because you're solid. You're not flinching at every comment. You're not chasing every insult. You're not explaining, apologizing, or defending. You become what every man and woman secretly wants to be, unshakable. And here's the twist. Half the time, people aren't even trying to offend you. They're just careless, clumsy, tired, or dealing with their own storms. But when you act unaffected, you become unaffected. Okay, the show's over. It's like a muscle. You train it. It's not arrogance. It's not numbness. It's emotional sovereignty. It's the difference between someone who walks into a room full of noise and becomes part of it, and someone who walks into that same room and brings the volume down just by being there. So, if someone says something rude, don't flinch. If a situation feels unfair, don't fold. If life throws chaos your way, don't add to it. You don't owe the world your reaction. You owe yourself your composure. And the more you practice that, the less power the world has over you. Control your emotions, and you control your life. Not a piece of your life, not just how you feel in traffic or how you handle an argument. No, all of it. Your relationships, your career, your health, your finances, your sense of self, all of it rests on the same cornerstone, emotional discipline. See, the world is filled with intelligent people who never reach their potential, hard-working people who never feel peace, loving people who keep sabotaging their relationships. Why? Because they haven't learned to control the one thing that controls everything else. Their emotions. Now listen closely. We're not talking about suppressing emotions. We're not talking about pretending you're fine when you're not. We're talking about mastering them, acknowledging them, without bowing to them, feeling them, without being ruled by them. Because if you don't learn to direct your emotions will direct you. And they will not lead you to where you want to go. Fear will talk you out of opportunity. Anger will destroy trust you spent years building. Envy will convince you that you're not enough. Guilt will keep you stuck in the past. And pride will whisper that you're always right, even when you're wrong. So I'll ask you again, who's really in charge? Is it you, or is it whatever you happen to be feeling that day? Because here's what no one teaches you in school. Success isn't about talent alone. It's not just about who you know or how smart you are. It's about who can stay grounded when the storm hits, who can stay calm when pressure rises, who can hold their values steady when everything around them is shaking. That's who people follow. That's who people trust. That's who builds great families, great companies, great lives. And if you want to be that person, you have to make a decision, a quiet, powerful decision, that no matter what happens around you, you will stay in control of yourself. Because the world will test you. Oh, it will test you every single day. Someone will insult you. A plan will fall apart. You'll feel ignored, underestimated. You'll be tempted to lash out, shut down, or give in. But that's when you take a breath. That's when you pause. And that's when you say, I will not give this moment the power to undo me. You see, every day you are given two options. Let your emotions steer the wheel and end up wherever they feel like going. Take the wheel yourself and drive with purpose no matter the weather. Now, one path leads to chaos, the other to character. You get to choose. And the more you choose the second path, the easier it becomes. Emotional control is not just a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. Start small. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Smile. You didn't get the recognition you hoped for? Stay focused. Someone gossips about you? Don't return the favor. Return to your work. You feel anxious? Take action instead of overthinking. These little moments, they build the muscle. And soon, you won't just be pretending to stay calm. You'll become the kind of person who is calm, centered, grounded, respected, trust, strong. And when that happens, and you become dangerous in the best possible way, not because you yell, not because you intimidate, but because nothing owns you anymore. Not fear, not pride, not doubt, not rage. You've taken your life back. Because when you control your emotions, you control your words. You control your decisions. You control your habits. And ultimately, you control your future. So the next time life presses your buttons, pause. Don't be a puppet. Be a force. Because emotions are loud, but wisdom is quiet. And your life will always be built by whichever one you choose to follow. Control your emotions and you control your life. The rest, that's just noise.